Hello and welcome back to We'll Have a Look podcast. And Seb joins us once again. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good.
Joe, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. My
What-
voice may sound a bit rough.
What have you been doing?
I've been in Benidorm on a stag for.
Oh wow,
Lads,
that's class.
Tell us everything.
Not for the we'll have a look, surely.
We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. All right. So, what, you spent 4 days in Benidorm, something like that?
Yeah, that was kind of it.
Can I just get your vibe check on Benidorm? Are we saying underrated or overrated?
I'd say adequately rated. It's
Rated.
exactly what everyone who
That's not a good
told
thing.
me about Benidorm it was. So I'll leave you to.
I spent a week. We will move on to the football chat in a second, but I spent a week in Benidorm with the wife and kids. We thought, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. But as long as you sort of open yourself up to it and agree that, 50-year-old bald men in Rangers shirts is your vibe, then you'll have a good time. That's a Hearts shirt you've got on there today.
Yeah, it is. It's basically family side. I know this is a bit controversial, but they're actually my second team. I don't know how you guys feel about having two teams. It's been quite a... I've seen there's been a bit...
We can talk about that.
Bit of a debate online whether it's okay to have two teams. But I think given that they play in the Scottish League, I'm sort of allowed to have two teams. I watch them closely, always keep track of the scores. Their mood, like if they win or lose, it does affect my mood. So obviously they started the season relatively well, so I'm actually pretty happy in comparison to my other team, Derby. But how do you guys feel about having two teams, or do either of you have a second team?
How do you feel? Is it okay to have two girlfriends or two wives?
I think that's all right. I think it depends. I mean, affecting your mood's a little bit crazy. Like
that's the bit I could love. Like, really, a second team affecting your mood? What are you doing?
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Crystal Palace, and I want them to do well, but it has no bearing on my mood if they win or lose.
That's stranger than me. I think having two teams in the same league or the same realm.
They're not my second team. I just like them more than like a lot of the teams I'm just neutral for.
Weirdly, Crystal Palace is my soft spot as well.
Yeah,
it's so strange, and I think it's my dad indoctrinated me growing up because he always liked Palace when they were in League Two. What would have been Division 4 back then, Division 3.
Yeah,
so Palace would weirdly be mine as well. And I do another podcast called Football Between the Lines with HLTCO.
Yeah, he's great.
He spent a year feeding Palace propaganda into my brain, so that now I despise Nottingham Forest on behalf of him.
It's funny how that goes, because sometimes when you're mates with someone, you can really, really start disliking that team because you want to see your mates suffer, or it can go the other way where you actually start really liking that team. But yeah, I'm Palace.
I have this thing, like, obviously it was very close with Derby, right, to go in total bust. So there was genuine consideration with me and my mates around the pub.
Yeah,
if we do go, like, what's the plan here? What's the play? Who do we support? And like being from the Midlands, there was genuine conversations about who we would support had our club just ceased to exist. And I said, other than Hearts, because obviously I wouldn't be able to get to their games being in Scotland every week, Wolves. So they're sort of my soft spot, and that comes from having a friend who's a Wolves fan and speaking to him about Wolves. But
he must be enjoying himself at the minute.
I just clearly like being miserable as a football fan.
Yeah, nothing smart about in my life.
Yeah, that's what I want.
There's a lot of character building going on.
If
Wolves, Hearts, and
if Spurs went, you two would be.
I wouldn't. There would be no one.
Really?
Yeah, you can't just start supporting another team, I think, with the same sort of feelings towards it. I just think I'd become just a neutral football fan. I'll just watch it, and I'll just hate on Arsenal. I'll become a professional hater. That's what I'd do.
I would use it as an example, an opportunity to escape the sport. Remember, I don't know how you felt for it, but I enjoyed lockdown when football disappeared. I've never been so zen.
I really do like the international break for that as well. Just a couple of weeks where you just don't have to think about it. And if nothing bad happens news-wise with Spurs, I'm just like, you completely switch off, basically. It's nice.
Yeah. Joe, someone asked me this question and I didn't know how to answer it. And it was the morning of the game before we played Brighton away. We drew 2-2, right? And he said, "Are you excited for the game later?" and I was like, excited is the wrong word. I don't remember ever being excited for a game of football ever. It's not that, is it? What is
No.
it? How do you describe how you approach a football match?
It's the before and after is by far the best bit of any football day. Particularly away days, like
Yeah.
the sort of going there with the optimism, or the sort of knowing that you actually haven't been beat yet, so you can enjoy the day. You may go with a few friends or family members. You then go to the pub before, you talk about the game, you talk about general football. Then you've got the football. That 2 hour bit of the football is just the worst part.
It's so funny that you're saying this to me, because we would go to the pub, the Bel-Air pub we used to go into. Now it's called the Number 8 in Tottenham High Road. And we would be in that pub for about 3 hours before kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd go, should we just not go? What is it? What does anyone actually like football? I don't know what it is. But the answer, I would say, I couldn't have the second team. No, I really enjoyed going to QPR last season. I went with my friend James, and he's a big QPR fan, season ticket holder. And to experience football like the kind of game that I remember growing up with, that's what it was. Going to Loftus Road, watching them draw 1-1 with Coventry. I think QPR were bottom and Coventry was second bottom. And it was the worst game of football I've ever seen. But there was something intoxicating about it, for sure. Well, where should we start? I guess something that sort of, I don't know, it sort of struck me as interesting is that there was this article in the New York Times or The Athletic, and they were talking about, if you are an England fan, you need to worry about Liverpool because they're playing a first team that doesn't have a single English player. What's your immediate reaction to that, Seb?
I think it's a sign. I mean, obviously, we all know sort of the foreign players that have dominated the Premier League for years and years and years, and I don't know. I don't know how worrying it is. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I think that teams have spells where they have English players. Liverpool had obviously Harvey Elliott last season. They wanted to sign Mark Gahey this summer, and there's still obviously the homegrown quota that every club has to fill. But yeah, I do think that Curtis Jones is in and around the first team, but I just think it's a sign of the times. I think the Premier League is a league that has such diversity in their players, and as an English fan of the English game, obviously you want to see English players at the top thriving and doing well. But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, that's where the Premier League is with all the money that we've got here. There's not such reliance on academy teams. You look at what Chelsea are doing with their academy at the moment, shipping out so many of their players either to Strasbourg or mainly to Strasbourg and then elsewhere as well, and sort of not getting that many opportunities in the first team. And yeah, I don't know how much it worries me because I think it's kind of been this way for like a number of years now, but maybe it is. I think it's more of a worry for sort of the academy system in England, and sort of the opportunities that academy players are actually getting in first teams, especially the big boys.
I think you can half flip it as well. The way I look at it is a lot of the other teams in the Premier League, like you look at Everton, for example, a big contingent of English players playing in the Premier League. And it's not like England, a lot of England's first teamers are being put on the subs bench in Liverpool. Liverpool have just always had a similar sort of team in that they brought that. How I actually look at it is our English players that are going to start for our team are being exposed to some of the best footballers in the world week on week. In La Liga, they had a massive problem for so long in that they had just an overall of all Spanish players, and it all meant the same type of football, the same. I mean, they all grow up with a way of football. They all have an individual style of football. In the Premier League, we're exposed to so many styles, so many different coaches, so many different systems that our English players are actually being exposed to the best and lots of different types of football. So maybe it actually better prepares us for when we come to playing these nations in the World Cup, because they're playing them every week.
If you look at the England squad, most of that talent was formed in the Football League anyway. I don't think that having a top club full of English players is in any way indicative to a strong English team.
No,
most of these players have gone abroad. His name, Bellingham.
Jude?
Jude Bellingham. Sorry, yeah, probably the most famous footballer on the planet. Jude Bellingham, went to Dortmund from Birmingham. You've got Madueke. He left Tottenham and went to Eindhoven to learn his craft. Jadon Sancho played his best football as a young player for Dortmund. So it doesn't matter that there's a through path to Liverpool Football Club or Tottenham or Arsenal or anybody. It only matters that these players are getting developing in an environment that is conducive to producing young players.
And Kane as well right now, like gone to Bayern, and he's doing an unbelievable job.
Yeah, because it's Pony League, isn't it? Anyway,
I feel like you're desperate. That means you're desperate to talk about Wirtz again, surely.
Well, that is a good segue because, yes, Florian Wirtz has played 6 games and hasn't registered a goal or assist. And his reputation amongst the club owners must be in the mud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at his stats actually before we came on the pod because I knew you'd bring him up eventually again, as you always do. And it's actually interesting. He's still one of the most accepted, he's got well over 3,000 accepts. It's a high percentage, but if you filter it down to the past 2 weeks, if you split the sort of Premier League, if you will, from the first 3 weeks, week leading up to it, and the last 3 weeks, he's slipping. He's getting rejected more and more and more, to the point now where over 50% of CEOs that do get him from agent money are actually rejecting him now, which is stark contrast to the start of the season when he was even higher rated. So now he's even less salary cap, but he's still getting rejected more than he was at the start of the season when everyone thought he was going to be this absolute everyone apart from, it seems, the few people in this podcast who all had him on the fraud watch train early.
It's not that I thought he was brilliant. The games I saw him play for Leverkusen last year, I just legitimately thought he was one of the best players in Europe. And there is a shift. I don't know if you've seen the Opta power rankings for different leagues in the world. And the Premier League compared to the other big 5, it's just light years ahead. I won't go into the many metrics that go into figuring out how strong a league is, but it's light years ahead of every other league. And so there is this step up isn't just in the psyche of these players; it's a real thing that they have to deal with. So that step up was always going to be there, but I was convinced that he would be a success. I did a ranking of the best signings in the summer, and there was João Pedro there, Gyökeres or Chokerez. Some people like to call him.
Some player.
And he was in there. Obviously, Kudus was in there. And Wirtz was in there. And they asked about 5 or 6 people who is the best signing this summer. And Florian Wirtz was one in everybody's ranking. So it's interesting that now we're watching him and we're pleading for him not to score. It's brilliant. Like when you're watching Liverpool at the moment, there's a bit against Everton where he cut the ball back and the defender mopped up. I think Tarkowski mopped up. And you're like, anyone who isn't a Liverpool fan is like fist bumping. Like, how long can we get this barren run going at Liverpool for Florian Wirtz? I think it's inevitable that it will come good. But as long as we can kind of ride out this sort of negativity and really kind of rinse it for everything it's worth, I think everyone benefits other than Liverpool fans.
100%. People are starting to run the old 007 stuff as well. So obviously that became a massive thing after Jadon Sancho, that graphic on Sky Sports, and he's 1 game away from 007 in the Premier League. So that's not going to help his cause at all, is it? But
sorry, this has skipped me by. What, just going 7 games without a goal or assist?
Have you never seen this before?
No, mate.
Oh my God, mate! Where have you not on Twitter, mate?
Well, I try not to be, actually. It's a very negative, poisonous place.
It is 007. Sky did a graphic for Jadon Sancho when he joined United, basically like dressed him up in a James Bond suit and said 7 games, 0 goals, 0 assists, 007. Since then, any signing that's ever come to the Premier League has been trying to escape the 007 graphic.
Yeah, it's the one they purposely want to avoid, like actively try and avoid.
They definitely know about it. Florian Wirtz knows his next game is his biggest in a Liverpool shirt because he can either avoid going 007 or he will become a 007 £116 million signing. But Liverpool fans will say he assisted in the Community Shield, but still kind of counts as pre-season,
I reckon.
A real
game. It should be disbanded. Exactly. It shouldn't be played anymore.
Yeah, he's in danger.
That sounds incredible. I'm very sad I missed that. But thank you for filling me in there, Seb. And I'm desperate for him to go 007 now.
Sorry, who did you have in the top 5? And if you were to maybe redo it now in terms of the best signings, who would be the top?
So the criteria was Gyökeres, it was João Pedro, Kudus, Florian Wirtz, Reinders, and I can't remember the 5th.
And if you were to say who have been the top, because I've got the top 3 high scorers in club that are new signings. So
interesting.
Oh wow.
So taking guessing club points away, who do you think have been the best 3 new signings so far?
I think João Pedro, Kudus, and probably Gyökeres, but Reinders, between Reinders and Gyökeres.
Seb?
Of every club, Kudus is definitely in there for me. João Paulinho and Javi Simmons. No, Kudus would be my number 1. I think he's been the best actual signing in the Prem so far. Genuinely, he's been so good for us. I'm trying to think of others. Yeah, Gyökeres would be. I think Zubimendi's been unreal. I think Zubimendi would probably be quite high up there for me. Arsenal kept quite a lot of clean sheets. He must have quite high points on club. Got a brace last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, him, Kudus, and I'm not sure after that. Probably maybe Ekitike. I do think Ekitike had a really, really good start at Liverpool. Great finish at the weekend. So I'll probably say them 3.
Yeah. So
I'd agree with that and change my mind completely.
You've
I thought we were just doing it from the 5 players I listed, but now I look like an idiot. Yes, I agree with Seb.
You've named 2.
João Pedro's got to be there.
Yeah, you've named 2 of the top 3. João Pedro.
Yeah.
Can you guys?
He is. It should be Kudus, but I've had him in my team, and for some reason, you lot at the club are not scoring him correctly.
So has Kudus not got that many points because he hasn't got that many goals and assists? Or?
He got an assist in the last game. I've got a bugbear about this, right? Yeah. So I've got it here, and I'm looking at it, and he's still got an orange arrow going right. And I'm like, this is outrageous, because he was great, right? And I've got 13 points. He's got assisted once. He's gone past players 6 times, Joe. Are you listening?
Yeah, can you hear
write
me?
this down. 6 times he's gone past a player. He started the game, and he created a big chance. Just because we didn't win, didn't mean his performance wasn't brilliant. How many more points would he have got for winning?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I was trying to say...
I was being drowned out.
What I was trying to say is a completely... so how we do assists is he wouldn't get the assist for that own goal.
No way. Really?
He did everything.
That's outrageous. Except he put the ball in. It's gone in off Van Hecke.
Except pick an own man out in his own shirt.
He knew exactly what Van Hecke was going to do. It's brilliant skill from Kudus.
What you're looking at there is Kudus has kicked the ball to an opposition player and not found his own teammate from the cross.
He put in such a dangerous cross that he forced Van Hecke to near into his own net. That's what happened there.
What are Premier League rules? Do they count that as an assist or not?
They won't count that. They won't count that. They won't count that as an assist because they know what they're doing.
Just disgruntled Spurs fans that are annoyed here.
But you were right in the top 3. You got 2 of them, Ekitike and João Pedro, are first and second. You haven't actually mentioned third. And the fact that you think Kudus is above this guy in terms of signings, but in third is Jack Grealish.
Of course, yeah.
I think Kudus has had a better start than Jack Grealish. Right, he's scored a couple of goals. Who cares?
He's not even scored a goal. Has Jack Grealish scored a goal for everyone?
But
he's got 4 assists, hasn't he?
But a better signing. Like, you think Kudus has done more for Spurs than Grealish has done for that Everton team?
Doesn't even belong to Everton. It's a loan signing.
Joe White has been up there as well. João Paulinho for free. He's been class. He was so good against Brighton at the weekend.
Seen that Javi Simmons lad?
Yeah, but it's only been 2 games. We can't put him forward quite yet.
No, that top 3 is absolutely fine. Grealish, Ekitike, and João Pedro. That makes complete sense. So yeah, have absolutely no issue with.
It's been a good window. I think genuinely for the general consensus for a lot of these newbies coming in, whether they're new to the Premier League or like João Pedro transferred from one Premier League club to another, it's not been a stinker. Like there's a lot, like you say, there's loads we could like Zubimendi that you can touch on, Truffert for like there's so many that like the good signings that have been made, the stats for Leeds. There's a lot of new signings that genuinely have been really, really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think defensive, Petrovic is a decent goalkeeper as well. He was at Bournemouth.
Trafford and Diakate for Bournemouth as well have been quality. They've had a brilliant start to the season.
Well, you were putting together a team of the week, weren't you, Joe? And most of them are core players, right? These are players that Manny suggests are a sort of green core players, ones that are not superstars. They're just the ones that he likes to give constantly. And you're like, not another one. I don't need that now, Manny. And yet he just continues to do it. But most of the point, there's lots of value to be had in these core players, right?
It's so funny. Season on season, I do the team of the weeks. I make the graphics. I look at the top 11, and it's just so many. Like the amount of play. I think if we could do a ratio, I'd try and work it out for next week. But the ratio of like rares and cores versus elite superstars and stars, like, is uncanny. Like the cores and the rares consistently pick up so many good points. So for this week example, 6 of the 11 are cores and 2 of them are rares. It's only Ekatike, Gravenberch and Fernandez who are higher than the core or rare. And so it makes you think that, like, you know, when you get annoyed at Manny because he keeps giving you these core players, maybe just have a second to look at those fixtures, look at those points, look at those potential points that he could earn in the future, and stop having to go at Manny and maybe start questioning the decisions. Because Harry, no one's like Harry Maguire, is like, I feel like most people who get him are looking at him and going, right, I'm going to reject Harry Maguire, but he's made it on. But there's players like Williams, like Cash, like Statch, like Iwobi, Harry Wilson, who Seb, you were mentioning, you just got there's players like that
quality.
that genuinely you do need to consider. I feel like a lot of people, once they get to like level 7, once they've been playing the game 5 weeks, they're like, right, I only want purples and oranges in my team because they're nice colours and they've got big high ratings.
Nice.
Well, look, mate, you chose the colours, Joe. This is your game. If I'm looking at it and I'm going, I'm desperate. I want the orange. I want the blues, right? That's what I want to see in my team. And now I'm passing up these core players, knowing full well they could help me. And this is the point, right? It's people playing this game go, well, it's just about processing till you get to the point where you can have all the big players, but you can actually compete at an early level. That's what I found. Yeah. But there is something really appealing about packing an elite player and putting him in the team.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets me as well. Like the amount of times you see you go into your league and you check your opponent's squad out, and they've got the bare minimum 11 of like purples and oranges because they're like they need to get under their salary cap. But it's actually the squads that have more variance in them that can play. Oh, this week Bournemouth have got a good fixture, so I'll play Tavernier. Or Fulham have got a good fixture, so I'll play Harry Wilson. And because they're low salary cap, they can fit a lot of these players in, and they can pick and choose which players to have in their team. There's varying strategies to take forward in the game.
Joe, you'll be pleased to know that I'm £5 million under my salary cap at the moment.
Get you?
That's unreal.
Did someone get? Was it a bit of tough love? Were there a lot of releases going on?
No, they just played their 3 games and left the club. So I was like, "What's happened? They're gone."
I'm 800k under my salary cap right now,
That's
so
nice.
I'm pushing the limit a bit. But
this is what I'm waiting. Like, I'm in this position where I'm just waiting for Manny to give me some decent stuff so I can start to kick on. I feel quite excited about it. Anyway,
have you loaned Xavi Simons?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I was going. I'm well on that.
Yeah. Have you been impressed with him so far?
I've actually got I was looking at it earlier, and him and Grealish in this week, since the last game week finished, him and Grealish from this loan market are the 2 most loaned players in ahead of the game week.
Well, and who are Spurs playing at the weekend? Wolves at home.
Easy.
Your third team. You've got so many teams. Your third team, Wolves. One team that's somewhat perplexing in how they're approaching football matches is Manchester City. I don't know if you caught the game against Arsenal. If you removed the Tottenham hat, it was a fascinating game of football because we saw what was a complete sea shift in Pep Guardiola in the space of an hour. an hour's football. You've gone from seeing what he's done over the last 7 or 8 years he's managed, and beyond that in Bayern Munich and Barcelona beforehand, and he's had a set way of playing. He shifts things around, formations change, but fundamentally the key principle is possession and control of the game. And he lost it completely against Arsenal. It was a fascinating game of football to watch. And, you know, I was looking at it going, this feels like a shift a little bit. Like previously, Arteta has found a way to not lose to Manchester City, and the roles were reversed completely. And Declan Rice said something interesting after the game. He said, we've gained the respect of Manchester City. They know the quality we've got. In my time here at Arsenal, we haven't dominated a game like that against Man City as we did today. A point is fair. They went to a back five, which I've never seen them do. They're obviously trying to hang on. Or you could just go to the Etihad and beat them 2-0. You could do that as well. Yeah, exactly. But as long as they respect you, Declan, as long as you've got the respect. But he's got a point, though. That was a massive shift in what Pep Guardiola was trying to do.
It's crazy. I mean, I made a video after the game saying I thought Pep was just taking the mick out of Arteta by setting up in that way. But in reality, I think it was when City went to the Emirates in, was it February or March last year? Towards the end of last season, they got battered 5-1. And I think Pep probably realised at that point that they just don't have the squad at the moment or the players that they used to have to sort of go toe-to-toe with a side like Arsenal. And it does kind of show you how Arsenal have gone on and progressed past Manchester City in the past couple of years, and now we're at a point where Arsenal are going into those sorts of games as the favourites, which I think is where some criticism of Mikel Arteta does come in at some points, and the way that he set up with that midfield on Sunday, he definitely could have been braver, but the way City defended was, I literally couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, we've seen...
Back five.
I know. We've seen two decades of Pep Guardiola managing top-level clubs, and he's never, ever sort of changed or shifted in terms of his core principles and his philosophy in terms of keeping the ball is the best form of defence, sort of, which is going to control games of football through possession and through having elite-level technical footballers. But shifting to a back five, taking off midfielders and attackers to bring on centre-halves and fullbacks. Like, I literally couldn't believe it. And I think it took Mikel Arteta massively by surprise as well. And Arsenal almost got a little bit lucky in the end because they didn't really create much throughout the game. That City had an absolute moment of madness. Sort of, it was almost like just remembering what they actually were, trying to push up to the halfway line, and then Martinelli takes advantage with what was actually an unbelievable finish in the end, and Arsenal earned themselves a draw. And I think that probably saved Arteta in a slight way from, I think, the criticism that he would have received for sort of the lack of creativity that Arsenal had. But
I think it's really unfair, that the criticism that you got and the Arsenal fans moaning and all that. I'm like, that was a complete domination. I know they didn't hit the target very often. I just think if you're an Arsenal fan looking at that, you should be encouraged. I would be if it was Spurs.
I think the frustration would have been with how they set up at the start. But to give him credit, he did change it at half time, bringing on Eze and Saka. Obviously, realised his mistake, and he probably didn't expect City to play like that. So when he actually saw how they were setting up, he realised he could afford to have Eze in the 10 instead of playing Mikel Merino in there. So he was proactive and he did change it, but. Yeah, I don't know. I do think that some of the criticism of Arteta has gone over the top, but it's another game that they've played against a big side at home that they have failed to win, despite the fact they never seem to lose these types of games anymore. A draw putting them 5 points behind Liverpool. Like, there's already a bit of a gap sort of mounting there, and I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't think he deserves too much criticism after Saturday, to be honest. I think it was more City completely took them by surprise, played in a way that they've never seen before, and sort of any team struggles to break down a low block like that, especially with the quality of defenders City have. But yeah, it was a fascinating game.
You're not giving him any credit? You shook your head fiercely.
It's just, I saw a lot of criticism from Pep, like saying he's lost the plot, like he's going far at the back. And I actually think maybe it shows that he's actually willing to compromise I think it takes a good manager to compromise what he wants to play and perhaps his ideal play in the good of the game. And like you say, had they remained that way, it was actually going back to old school Pep that made them concede the goal late on, had they continued that low 5 at the back, I mean, Gavardio made 9 clearances, like rather than just pass.
Yeah.
It was mental. Had they kept that for that final few minutes, they would have won the game 1-0, and it would have been a perfect away performance at the Emirates. So I think that shows. I think Pep was so close to showing us why he's the man. Like, and it would have been a small rider, but Arsenal got the goal. So, like you say, there has to be some credit to Mikel Arteta, but I see it as you. It shouldn't take, and I know you said there he's reacted 45 minutes in. An elite manager knows what they're going to do way before that first whistle, like the kickoff. And I know being adaptive is like a great thing in management to have, and he did that, and he changed it 45 minutes in. But a great manager, an elite manager, a title-winning manager knows how Man City are going to play, what they're going to do, and how to beat them, and what you should be doing way before the first whistle. And Arteta clearly didn't get that because he made 2 substitutions at half time. It was awful in the first half. Like, and they wasted 45 minutes.
Madueke was injured, so that was one sub. It wasn't as reactionary. I don't know why I'm defending him. I just find it a bit odd, really, that Guardiola stunk the place out, like literally anti-football.
I'm not having the tactical masterclass Pep Guardiola after that game.
It stunk, Joe.
Yeah, he knows his squad can't go to the Emirates in the way that it used to and sort of blow Arsenal away in the way that it used to. I think it's almost an appreciation for where Arsenal are as well. But
that's clever management, though. Like he did
the right thing without losing. But let's not say if Stoke do it, they get criticised for it. If Guardiola's doing it, he's now like, oh, this is another string to his bow. Look at him. Anyone can do a low block. Anybody. Anyone in the Premier League.
I think it's clever. It's clever management, but I don't think it's an absolute masterclass. I don't think it's something you're going to see from him many more times this season. I don't think. But
like grab it like Nathan Redmond. And grabbing it, you're basically better than Southampton because they're stinking the place out.
After every Spurs City game for the past 5-6 years, we know this. I mean, after every single game, Pep would come out and go, when we had Conte, when we had Mourinho, and go, that's no way to play football. You know, the quality of players at Spurs, they shouldn't be playing like this. They're not trying to play football. Basically coming out after every time we beat them and absolutely moaning. We did
stink the place out.
Oh, we stunk, but absolutely, we beat them every time. So,
Joe, I tell you what though, there is definitely something in the fact that Pep's reacting to football now. He's reacting. He's realised that his style of play isn't dominant anymore, and it hasn't been for a good 18 months, maybe 24 months. He had that period when he went toe to toe with Liverpool, and that was the best Man City side, probably the best Premier League side I've ever seen. But he's also noticing that teams who play a certain way are working him out, and total possession isn't the one that is the be all and end all now. And why he is such a great manager is that he will react to what's around him. And that's what he did against Arsenal, to be fair. It's just, I don't know. I just thought with Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden and Haaland that you could play a little bit better than that. But I guess it's what you like. I was desperate for them to win. Desperate for them to win.
I think such a huge part of it as well that's being overlooked is the lack of Kyle Walker in that City side now. Like, he used to, everyone knows it, but he used to save them so many times where you can just rely on that pace. It's like Van de Ven in the Ange Postecoglou system. It was like, without Van de Ven, we wouldn't have been able to play that way because he would save us countless times when balls are played in behind, and Kyle Walker was that for City, and now they don't have that much pace in their back four. I think maybe that's what's forced him to sort of adapt a little bit.
I think that's so right. Genuinely, I think everyone's trying to work out what problem City are having, and this isn't they don't have Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's not been the same for what hasn't been the Kyle Walker for 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons now. The time perfectly correlates to when Man City haven't been Man City, and their issues aren't in the attacking. They're still scoring loads of goals, and Haaland still looks brilliant. You're right, it's that defence, and it is because Vardiol, Ruben Diaz, particularly Ruben Diaz, great centre-back when he's blocking the stuff, and anything that gets past him, Kyle Walker can just run and clean it up. So many times we saw it, and it's why he was the best fullback in the Premier League, but maybe even the world at some points from that right-back position, because his pace got them out of absolutely everything. And if it wasn't him, it was Ederson running up I think those two, Edison and Walker, who have not been the same players, because there was such a small gap because Edison basically played on the edge of his D. Walker could run in behind quicker than anyone, so there was no danger of anyone getting in behind or getting done on the break or in transition because of them two. And ever since them two haven't been the same players for the past season and a half, 2 seasons now, that's when Man City have really begun to struggle. And I think it's telling. Like, and they haven't worked it out. And now they've got Donnarumma there, who isn't an Edison that will come off his line and camp on the edge of his D. The Kushnerov isn't as quick or as clever or has got that nous that Kyle Walker had. So I genuinely agree. I think Man City stopped being Man City when Edison and Kyle Walker stopped being as good.
Kushnerov was core as well. I brought him in thinking this makes complete sense. He didn't have a great game. Into the club scoring, did Donnarumma or Edison more? What would you look at? Because I would say Donnarumma is probably going to face and save more goals, but Edison playing in a Man City side that's a little bit more controlling. The goalkeeper's passes count for differently to outfield players. Is anything in that?
No, so the Edison on the odd occasion might have got more points for tackles or run-outs or interceptions.
Or assists.
Yeah, exactly. Got pitched in with the odd assist. So it was mainly interceptions or tackles when he was, like I say, coming out and running out from that box. But so that would have, you just on face value, you'd think Edison much better to have a much better asset than Donnarumma. But like you say, Manchester City is so defensively leaky now that Edison will end up making a lot. Donnarumma will make a lot more saves and score points for a lot more saves. He's like I say, and when it comes to it as well, we all know he's a brilliant penalty stopper. So saving penalty scores you mega points as a goalkeeper in club as well. So he's got that. He will have that going for him. I think Donnarumma is the highest rated goalkeeper in the game for a reason, right? Manchester City. Do concede chances, so he'll make a lot of saves. They don't concede great chances, so he'll more than likely save a lot, and they still are always a good shout for the odd clean sheet against particular side. So, yeah, I think if you've got him, Raya, or Alisson in your team, they're probably just a renew contract, and don't worry about even having. I mean, I had Robert Sanchez, so. in my club team, yeah. So that one hurt.
No.
Yeah, what was the score for being sent off?
So Robert Sanchez got a massive -5 on my score, and I lost my game week by only a few points. So things like that really, really hurt. But for a red card, you got -8.
That was a bit of a subtle brag, that wasn't it? No, my goalkeeper did get sent off and got -5 points, but only lost my game week by a couple of points. You're pathetic, Joe.
No, it's actually my first loss of the of being the admin club account. It was
mate,
that
I got 2 on the bounce. I'm flying, mate. I'm rolling.
TWs.
Yeah, mate. I'm flying, and I'm not up against like one geezer. Didn't obviously. He downloaded it and never looked at it. Clearly got that, but yeah, I had a nice little victory. Top of my club, Bronze League 3.
Class.
So I'm doing all right, basically. I got 268 across 2 game weeks. I did notice a tweet there saying you can only reply to this tweet if you get 200 points in a game week. And I'm like, how does anyone do that? do you regularly get above 200, Joe?
Not regularly. Like I say, It's like it was one of those things. It was like, have you done it once, maybe this whole season? Like that's the sort of like the North Star, as it were. Like
200 is like
it's more than doable if you get a few good goal scorers, a few defenders that keep clean sheets. It's more than doable, but it's definitely the North Star to aim for. Like it's sort of that's when you know you've made it in club when you hit that big 200 plus in a club store.
I'm not quite there yet.
Me next week.
Yeah. Well, when Xavi Simons gets a brace and an assist, we might be on our way.
We will be there. We will absolutely be there.
Do you know who else is good and underrated? And Ndiaye from Everton. I mean, I know people rate him as a player, but he's been very fruitful this season. So four times he's scored above 20, 28 in his first game, 23, 13 against Villa, and 21 in the Merseyside derby.
It's so satisfying. It's so satisfying when you go to your players and you go to form and you just see, and you can scroll and you can see all those like greens, high yellows, like high. It's always good.
I've got a quick question actually. While we're on the subject, and I've got you here, Joe, is if a player's on the subs bench, he doesn't lose a game, does he?
No, so if he stays on your bench and one of your starting 11 doesn't, so what, for example, I had Pat Metsar who didn't start
Yeah.
for Spurs, so
The goat.
my midfield Paqueta came on for him. He loses a contract then, and Pat Metsar wouldn't, even though you did start him.
Okay. That's
So it's
good.
only if they play and score I say points, they could score minus points or a zero like Sanchez did. But yeah, if they play, will you lose a contract?
Pat Matasar, friend of the podcast, by the way. He liked my TikTok video at the weekend, so that's my humble flex,
he?
my humble brag. Yeah,
How did that
he
feel,
looked-
Seb?
oh, it felt amazing. First interaction with a Spurs player, I was absolutely buzzing for the whole day. He liked my
Yeah.
It was a 5 things we learned from Brighton 2, Tottenham 2, just like going through all the points. I said in the video that Sarr should start next week, and he liked the video, so
Yeah.
that was class.
Oh, he's on my bench at the minute. Do I need to
We
bring
were.
him? Do I need to bring? Oh no! Do I need to bring him back in?
That is very sweet.
I'm flexing it to everyone.
I'm currently benching Pat Metsar for Bruno Fernandes for Brentford away.
That's criminal. Get him in. Get him
It's
involved.
criminal, but you just think about what he's going to do, right? If Simmons is central, Sarr will sit, and it'll probably have. You don't get points for pre-assist, do you?
No.
No, that's a shame.
I think Sarr will start at the 10 next Sunday, so I think he could be a good shout for club. Actually,
Simmons
I think-
on the left.
I think he plays Simmons on the left. I'm just not sure he's quite convinced with Simmons starting in the 10 right now, but maybe he's brave. And if he is, then Simmons is going to bag about 100 points himself. So
I don't know what you, when you're watching him, how you can't be convinced that he can play in the centre. Like when he came on against Brighton, he was clearly the best player on the pitch. Like,
He's-
he just
comfortably.
Yeah.
We said it last week. He already showed last week more than Verts has in an entire season, and now that Brighton game as well, when he has shown far more ability.
The agenda must agenda.
Indeed.
Simmons
Verts.
is clear.
007, baby. Come on. So we've just passed the peak podcasting length. So while there is more to talk about, you've got to leave the fans wanting more. So I think we will wrap this up. But there's tons of great opportunities this weekend for your core players to score points. Tottenham playing Wolves at home. I would say Everton at home against West Ham is because there's
Hasty
opportunity.
fixture that.
Yeah,
Grealish on the loan market now.
I've got
Simmons on the
Dewsbury
loan
Hall.
market now. Get
Dewsbury
in
Hall's
there.
in my midfield, so I'm hoping for points from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously Chelsea versus Brighton. Do you want to look at that? Maybe not. City at home to Burnley, points there for sure. One that you probably want to avoid is Newcastle at home to Arsenal.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just want to say quickly as well, I was telling you that Simmons and Grealish are the most loaned in, third, bizarrely, and he's not in this loan market. He was in, I think, a couple prior. Ollie Watkins. So people still holding out for Ollie Watkins to finally turn it around against Fulham at home. Like he's
Villa
the
are
third
going
most
down.
loaned player in.
They're going down, Seb. Is that what you're saying? Eventually, is he? Forgive me, because Villa have been so boring to watch this year. I haven't actually watched a single minute. Has he played in all of those 5 games?
Yeah, he's just been so poor.
Yeah, he started every game. Missed a couple of big chances against Sunderland at the weekend, actually. It's just, mate, are Villa
Emery's-
too good to go down? Who knows?
Emery's. I mean, you want like in terms of like Premier League narratives, a big boy going down. There's nothing better.
Oh, that'd be unreal.
There's
That'd
nothing
be
better.
unreal.
Every time Newcastle went down, the world celebrated, didn't they?
If Villa went down, Ben Bowman would throw a party, I think, the way that man's got an agenda against that
He
football
hates
club.
Villa so much. Like, it was literally about 11:30 at night. Everyone's trying to go to bed, and he's just moaning about Aston Villa. Unreal. Ben Bowman will probably be back with us next week. Actually,
Yes.
we'll see. All right then. Thank you very much. Download the club now. Use the QR code in the top right hand side of the window that you're watching at, and then come and play with us. Sounded terrible. Right.
Good end. Great end.
Great ending.
Come and play with us.